guys, welcome back to Chronicles of a Therapist. I am Cassandra Shepard and welcome to my space. So, I wanted to talk about something that, and I know I've talked about this before, but not in this detailed. Compassion fatigue is something that I have elevated from burnout to compassion fatigue. Now, ironically, I thought it was just me, and I don't know what the shift is with, I guess, society, because I have talked to more people in the last month who are also pushing past burnt out for their life, taking care of people, whatever. So I was like, maybe people need to talk about it. So compassion fatigue, compassion fatigue can also be named vicarious trauma, or and basically it originally came from people who were in the military taking care of, like, say you go to Afghanistan and you're a nurse, so you have secondary vicarious trauma. So you are experiencing, you're not on the front lines, but you are now caring for these people who have got limbs blown off, and you're suturing their guts, and so originally, just like with PTSD, it originally started from people who were in the military because obviously major trauma, right? So compassion fatigue also heightened during COVID for obvious reasons. Those of us who were still seeing people, like in the mental health field, the medical field, nurses, aides, anybody in the medical profession. And sometimes, depend on what your school community is like. If you're a teacher, if you're an educator, you also can have some compassion fatigue. And I think that those of us who care for people, also you can have compassion fatigue if you are caring for loved ones. That could be kids. Maybe you have a child with a disability, or mental health or behavior issues, or I have come into contact with so many teenagers whose parents have gotten to the place where they're like, at this point, I don't know. Like, I have tried all these things. We've been in therapy. We have meds. We have this person, that person. I cannot deal. And so it is a place, and I have wonderful, wonderful list of the actual identifiers if you have experienced compassion fatigue. So I will start with feelings of helplessness and reduced feelings of empathy. If you are in a helping profession and I only know this because it sounds crazy to be a therapist and say that I have reduced empathy. Yes, that is possible. I will also caveat, I've been doing this for 13 years. And you have been helping people, and you have seen trends, and you have seen the same people with different faces. Sometimes you feel like a robot. Sometimes you feel like you're saying this, and I'm sure nurses and doctors feel the same way. We are saying the same things to different people. And so when you have that level of reduced empathy, it's there, but it's like, can you just get your stuff together? These are things sometimes that those of us who are in this field think about, whether it's in the medical field. You know you got diabetes, just eat right. Stop. We're amputating all of these limbs. Can you just eat right? Like, just reduced empathy. Feelings of helplessness. When I think about that for somebody who's in a helping profession, that looks more like it doesn't matter how many things I provide, interventions, how much help, it doesn't matter. There is no end. So that's what that is. It becomes a place when you're working with people where you understand that it's not about us, and it's not about us helping to the effect of it's going to change them. I've always said that I'm just a space. I just hold space for people. And so when you move past understanding that that's what your purpose is, to like, it don't matter it don't matter. It ain't gonna work. That is the lack of helplessness. Feeling detached, numb, and emotionally disconnected. That can mean not necessarily from a therapeutic sense, but just around you. Because the thing that's interesting about compassion fatigue, it doesn't just affect whoever you're caring for, right? So it doesn't affect me in my role as a therapist. It starts to melt into every other area of my life. So maybe now I might have really close friends, your significant other, your family members, your mom, your siblings. I don't care. I want to be detached. I don't want to think about what you got going on. That is that emotionally detached and numbness. Like, I don't want to feel, I don't want to engage in these relationships. Increase anxiety, irritability, and sadness, which is important because maybe you are a person who's even killed and chilled, and now you're always angry. Now you're anxious about everything. You feel your anxiety on a million just because it's Tuesday morning. Loss of activities you enjoy. I believe that is the biggest identifier when you are in compassion fatigue because say like I've had moments where I really hate working out, but I really do like working out is something that I know for a fact helps kind of keep me grounded and centered so I can do everything I need to do. So I know for myself when I don't like working out. Like, of course, anybody who works out understands it's a level of being sore. There's a level, like, yes, that comes with working out. But, like, yeah, not this is a rest day. When your rest day goes for like a month and a half, you probably have lacked and not liked at all working out. The next one is difficulty concentrating and making decisions. So, like I said, this doesn't just affect who we're caring for. Now, maybe you can't figure out, okay, I got this bill, and this bill, and the kids need this. Maybe you are really, really good at being able to identify what needs to be done, but now you're like, I know that the car needs to get fixed, but we also have rent. But I'm going to go buy these shoes because that's an easier decision than trying to figure out how to move money around, how to decide what I'm going to pay on this and what I'm going to pay on that, which is a part of the adult experience. Like if you haven't figured out how to navigate your finances as an adult, that's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother topic that we need to talk about. But when you're at the place where you've not mastered it, but you're pretty good at it. And you're like, I'm just going to go do something that I wouldn't do. Like, I'm just going to buy a whole new Chanel bag. What? Why would you spend money on that when your car just broke down? Like, you're struggling making decisions. The next one is sleep disturbances. So either you're sleeping too much or you're not sleeping enough or you're not sleeping throughout the entire night. So that is, I get up, I go to sleep. I get up like I'm tossing and turning. I'm up for 2 hours and then I sleep for an hour and then I'm up for 3 hours. Sleep disturbances. And then lastly, physical symptoms. So your headaches, your nausea, dizziness, things of that nature are identifiers. These are the things that let you know, hey, you got some compassion fatigue going on. I think that the biggest thing that people don't realize is that is affecting not just your work, it's affecting your livelihood outside of work. Because even as a therapist, I can have moments where I can just kind of call off for a day or two and say I'm sick. But the reality is, if I haven't done the work to figure out why are you feeling this way? Like for me currently, I will share why I'm having compassion fatigue. As you guys know, I have way too many jobs, but I am about to quit one, so I'm super happy about that. And I've been having multiple jobs for a very, very long time. And not just multiple jobs in the same field. It's not like, okay, I'm doing therapy here. Okay, I work at, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts and I babysit. Like, I'm doing multiple jobs, literally doing the same role, which led to burnout and now compassion fatigue. My mom recently had knee surgery, and I've been I am the child who she calls on to take her to the surgery, pick her up from the surgery, while she's in rehab, making sure she has this, while she's back at home, making sure she's got grocery store, and I got to do all the things. And while that's not an issue because I love my mom, I am the kid that lives the farthest away. I live like 45 minutes from my mom. I also work a lot. So you add that in there. Yeah, so time is real, real limited for me. And so that is why for me, the compassion fatigue has gotten overwhelming just for that, just for doing too much for everybody else and not spending enough time for me. And so something that I think that I know that I had to do is I had to dive back into my workouts, and not just my workouts. I had a really, really great conversation with my trainer about when you are taking care of yourself with your health and wellness, this is something selfish that you have to do. The excuse of, well, I don't want to make more than one meals because this person eats this, and then that's not, it doesn't matter. And so there's a level of tapping into yourself if you're having some compassion fatigue, and really being selfish, really saying no, really setting boundaries and saying, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I don't have the capacity to do that. And I've talked about that before. And I think a lot of times we forget the importance of saying no and setting boundaries. Another thing that we can do is set boundaries, say no, and then make time for you, whatever that looks like. So for me, it's making sure that I have 4 to 5 days in the gym. And not just that, making sure I eat well. I think that sometimes all of us do this. It's easy to just go to McDonald's and get a McChicken because I didn't pack anything. But it's a known fact that does not work. That does not essentially help, not just weight loss, but it clouds your brain. You know, have y'all ever done a detox, like a real good detox, like whether it's a no meat detox, whether it's a juice detox, whether it's a water fast? Do y'all realize how much clearer once you get past the hump of being angry about not having the things that you want, like caffeine and bread and chocolate and stuff. But once you get over that hump, the level of clarity that you have with your decisions, you actually feel better. And so sometimes, now granted, please do not go on no detox without talking to your doctor. Because if you got other medical issues going on, please don't say, well, Cassandra said. No, she didn't. I said, check with your doctor first. I don't need nobody with some medical issues talking about, I just went on a 30-day detox. Ma'am, sir, please don't do that without being cleared, because that might not be good. But compassion fatigue is something that, going into the Christmas season and the end of the year and taking care of everybody, you got to really, really tap in, because it will affect your relationships. And nobody wants to be in spaces during the holiday time where they can't connect. Like, if you have children and you are struggling with compassion fatigue, you don't even want to take care of your kids. Just go get on your electronic. Sure, you can have McDonald's. I don't care. And then you do that enough, and then your kid, then that's when people have kids who are overweight, because as an adult, part of our job is to make sure that our kids have the food that is nutritious, and giving them the things that they need for their body. And granted, like I said, I'm not anti-fast food. It's not always the best. I think you should live a little. I think that you should have things like, I love coffee. I am not about to stop drinking coffee. It's not going to happen. Now, I can change how much coffee, but I'm not about to stop drinking coffee. And so for me, ironically, something that I really, really enjoy are the Saturday mornings where I can get up and make a cup of coffee and just exist. And so I've noticed that that's something that, while I'm struggling with this compassion fatigue, that I have to do. I have to just get up 20 minutes early and just sit. And you can sit and journal, you can sit and pray, you can sit and meditate, you can sit and be creative and color and paint. But sometimes we just have to sit in with ourselves and say, what are my affirmations? And sometimes with compassion fatigue, you might just need, okay, what are my affirmations and what is my own personal goal for the day? Because I am struggling, and if I add too much stuff, something ain't gonna get done. So I want to encourage you to take that time to sit with yourself and identify what is it that you need. And as always, if these things are not working, please go see a professional, go see a therapist, a counselor, a social worker, and see if having someone hold space for you can help get you through it. Because sometimes we struggle because we don't know how to press past it. So hopefully that helps you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you would like to connect with me on Instagram, you can find me at cnshep_chronicles. And as always, allow your passion to propel your purpose. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.